Greetings, YouTube. I had planned on doing a video very similar to this on March 13th, and then a white terrorist decided to go shoot up uh, some massage parlors and kill 6 women, specifically 6 Asian women. So not only is this attack on women, but it's an attack, once again, on the Asian community. In this case, literally an attack on women and Asian people. Yeah. So I've talked recently about the anti-Asian rhetoric that was being spread by Dump and how it's infected America, and how, of course, we have a long history of misogyny here in the West, and in fact, the world over. But in America, it has a particular, the whole incel manosphere, men going their own way, get that kind of pickup artist vibe, which is just abhorrent on so many goddamn levels. But just the ordinary, everyday male ignorance of what it is like for women to live in our world. I suffer from mental illness, and I've never made any effort to hide that fact. And part of that was being raised in a household that put me into a situation where I suffered from hypervigilance. And I suffered from hypervigilance and still do to a certain extent today, even at 56. But it was very bad right up until I was in my early 50s. And it means that you're never, ever able to let down your guard. You have to be prepared always against every situation and every person. It's not a healthy way to live. It will literally drive you crazy. But that's what we do to women. We force them from the moment they leave their homes to be prepared at any moment for sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, assault, or murder. Always. They have to be prepared for catcalls. They have to be prepared for just general, ordinary, everyday misogyny and sexism. They have to be prepared for men groping them in public or at work, or when they're just trying to do their daily tasks in stores. We prepare them by telling them you shouldn't go here and you shouldn't dress like that, and you've got to carry your keys between your fingers so you can punch somebody. And we do this endlessly. And if a woman survives in some form of attack, we say, well, she shouldn't have done this, this, and this. Obviously, it's her fault. It's not her fault. None of it is her fault. It's the fault of the people doing the harassing and the assaulting and the raping and the killing. If a woman doesn't give a guy her number in a bar, she can get yelled at. She could have a drink thrown in her face. That guy could go outside and wait for her to come outside and harass her some more. Maybe attack her car. Maybe assault her. Maybe kill her. And this is not speculation on my part. This is not like some theoretical scenario I'm throwing up here for your entertainment. I'm describing things that have happened to real women in the real world. There have been women murdered because they didn't give their number to some guy in a bar, because his fragile fucking ego took a hit. So he decided that the only way to preserve that fragile ego was to kill the woman that dared to point out that maybe he's not the most desirable fucking human being in the world. All the time. Endlessly. Every second of every day. And that will drive you crazy. And it's the guys doing this shit. It's It's the men that are doing the harassing and the assaulting and the raping and the murdering. Because they've been told since birth they're entitled to it. They're entitled to say what they want. They're entitled to touch whoever they please. They're entitled to sex. They're entitled to have their egos stroked. They're entitled to be deferred to. And they aren't. I don't know if you need to hear this, but women are people. Just like you're a people. And if you wouldn't say and do those things to a guy, why do you think it's okay to say or do them to a woman? What in your brain tells you that's okay? Because it isn't, and you're wrong. You might listen because a dude's telling you this. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're typing furiously down in the comment section right now telling me how I'm wrong, telling me how those whatever vile term you'd like to use about women deserve what they get. And some of the people writing those things will just be trolls, but some of them will be serious. And they'll all go away, and the comments will be erased. And I'll go on with my life. Because I have that privilege. I'm not worried about walking in the street when I leave today to go to work and being harassed or assaulted by a guy. I'm not worried about going to work and have people making snide comments about how I look. Or having me concerned if I get too close to somebody, are they going to try to cop a feel? I don't have to. That's my privilege. But we do this to women. And in some cases, we just go to their place of work and shoot them. Because you think you should be able to? They're probably not going to call that guy a white terrorist, but what he is. He went to multiple locations. He killed Asian women specifically. He's a white terrorist. He's a misogynistic terrorist. He's also an asshole. But we make women live in fear. Every time they say no, every time they turn down a guy for anything, they have to be worried about how that person's going to react. And it was wrong the first time some guy did it. And it's wrong now. It will always be wrong. So we have the power to not do that. So maybe not do that, guys. Maybe just not do that. Try it. Try treating women like human beings. You might find that you have a refreshing degree of interaction with women if you treat them like people.